I just wanted to talk about the 40 caliber round. Everyone thinks it's kind of going away. It's not going away. It's definitely decreased in popularity. That's for sure. It ain't because it's not effective. It's very effective. I think it hits. I mean, it hits harder than the 9mm as far as mass wise goes. Like as far as punching power, penetration, I don't know, I think they're pretty much almost the same. But isn't the key to self-defense is stopping power? Well, the 40 has more stopping power. You can tell just by look at shooting videos. If you look at shooting videos, you can see the steel targets move a lot more when they're hit with a 40 than they do when they're hit with a 9. So it's a stupid argument. Guns are like fashion. Like calibers go in and out of fashion, like girls' purses. Now the 9mm's in. Now it's out. Now 357 SIG. That round was in for a while. Now that's out. Then the 40 was the main one at one time. Remember? It just goes back and forth. It is. I think it's because there's so many different situations. It's hard for us to make up our minds what caliber would work the best in a bad situation. Because the most important thing to self-defense is stopping the threat immediately, fast as you possibly can. Right? Right. So what's the 9mm have over the 40? Probably shot placement. Probably being able to handle the recoil better and shooting tighter groups. There's no doubt about it. The 40 is a very snappy round. Certain guns handle it better than other guns. This is a Glock 22 original RTF from 2009. And there's a story behind that, but I don't know if he wants me to talk about it or not. So I'll ask him first and I'll tell you in another video. But originally, this was my gun. And then I sold it to a really good friend of mine. And it ended up back in my hands. So I'm the original owner of this gun. And I bought it in 2009. I think I bought it at Target Master when I used to shop there. Yes, original RTF. It's got the rough textured frame. I'm not a big fan of the rough textured frame, but I'm not going to modify anything because I'm trying to keep the gun pretty original. What I would do is get some nice rubber Talon grips, heat them up real good, put them on there, and with the heat, they'll sink right into them in the little divots and cover them up and make it a lot more comfortable and grippier, and won't hurt the finish or mess up the anything. So another thing, I'm all over the place. This is how I do it because that's just my brain. Another thing, a lot of people go by, well, what's the cops use? What's the cops use? Because they think, hey, if the cops use it, it's scientifically been tested, and not necessarily. I think a lot of times when police departments switch to a smaller caliber like a 9mm is because they'll have easier, as far as follow-up shots and on-target shooting, less wildness, especially, for them, because if they make one mistake, they go to jail. One stray bullet goes anywhere. They can't wait to put a cop in jail. It's just like, it's so ridiculous. So that might be the reason. A lot of them are going to 9mm. Another reason why a lot of them go to 9mm is because it makes qualification shooting a lot less tough because it's not as much recoil, especially for female police officers. They probably can definitely qualify a lot better with a 9 than a 40. Now, I know a lot of people say you can get good with any caliber. All you got to do is practice. Well, that's not the real world, because there's cops out there that are not gun people. That gun is just a tool, and they only pull it out of their holster when they're qualifying or when they're practicing. And some of them are just not into it, and they don't practice a whole lot. So gun people that happen to be police, of course, they're going to shoot good with any caliber because they like shooting. So this is from my experience, from what I've seen working at a law enforcement shooting range, because they all came there to qualify. So the 9mm holds more ammo. You're going to have more accurate shooting because there's less recoil. You can control the gun a little bit better. Then the 40 is you have to concentrate a little bit more on your grip and your focus to get tight groups with the 40 because it kicks more. It shoots a little bit more wild. But when each round hits its target, which one's more effective? The one that hits the target where it's supposed to be hit, which one's going to be more effective? From what I can see, and when I'm seeing people shoot steel, that steel's flying around in the air a lot more than when it's hit with 9mm. So what I'm trying to say is, because I'm a 9mm guy, if you have 40s, don't give up on it and get rid of it because it's not the popular round. I have 140 and it's this one. This gun's awesome. The Glock 22 shoots a 40 really, really nice, and the Beretta 96, if you have one, shoots the 40 caliber really, really nice. Now, when you get down to like a Glock 23 and a Glock 27, you got to really hold on, and it's hard to shoot, tight groups with them guns because they're smaller guns, they're lighter, and the 40 has a lot of recoil for the size of its round. Now, here's something weird. The 10mm, which is a 40 long, that shoots nice. Now, go figure. I shot a Glock 29. Now, I know it has a massive slide. It's got a little bit more weight. And it felt like a 45 ACP. I mean, that Glock 29 shocked me when I pulled the trigger as far as recoil goes. I was waiting for a lot of recoil. It wasn't that much. So, I don't know. Figure that one out. Probably because there's a little bit more weight with the Glock 29. But I just wanted to show this original RTF. It's an old gun and doesn't have a tremendous amount of rounds to it. Everything's original, original night sights. So these night sights are, since 2009, and they're just starting to get dim. They still work though. So I might just change these to put fresh night sights on them. But that's pretty much it. Everything else is the same. And it's really nice. TLR1 HL, super bright light, great light. And remember guys, if you want a holster with a light and I don't have a light, all you got to do is ship me your light and I'll make the holster, send the light back with the holster. But you got to email me if you want to do something weird like that. I do it all the time for people. Can almost make just about any holster with a TLR1 because I have that. I have a real TLR1 light here to put on a holster gun and make it. So, but if you have something weird like a light with a laser under it or something, you can just send it in. So this has the Tinnifer finish on it. So it's kind of, everyone thinks this finish is indestructible. It is. It's probably the most durable finish, but it's slippery. It's definitely slippery. But this has the fish gill serrations, which I love. So it's real easy to rack to slide. But this Tinnifer finish is very, 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 very slippery. So Glock changed that finish. They have more of it's like a smooth matte finish, so it's easier to grab. But this gun runs like, this gun never malfunctions. It's so freaking awesome. It's pretty much a Gen 3, you could tell by looking at it, especially by the mag release, which I rounded off because Glock Gen 3 mag releases are pointy as fuck. So all you gotta do is round them off with a buffer and it feels really good. Next thing I want to do is, I remember I had this left over. This is a Vickers Glock tool that goes in the sight, in the grip channel. And I think it's going to fit in this one. It might fit, so I might as well put it to use and put it in the gun. Do I have a screwdriver or something here? How about I use the Glock tool to get this one out? Alright. See if that fits in there. That's why you don't, see? Perfect. Now I have a Glock tool with my gun at all times. Ain't going nowhere. Gives it a more complete look too. Alright, extends the grip a little bit. My hands ain't real big, so it ain't doing nothing for me. So the Glock 22 is the size of a Glock 17. It's a full-size Glock. And what's cool about Glocks is some gun manufacturers, when they go up a caliber, the slide gets wider. The Glocks don't do that. Now lately, other gun companies are starting to copy Glock. Like, if you get a 9 or a 40, the slides are the same size. Didn't used to be like that. If you went from 9 to 40, the slide would get wider or thinner, you know, with most, that's other gun companies. So that's why I like the Glock. So if you have a Glock 17 holster, it'll fit a Glock 22 gun too, because it's the same exact dimensions. The only thing that changes is the hole in the front. The barrel gets bigger, a bigger circle. But nothing else changes. The grip, the slide, everything. The only thing different is you see a 22 stamped on there instead of a 17. So if you have a Glock 22 and you want a holster from me, just order a Glock 17 holster. It'll fit. It'll fit perfectly. Yes, it'll fit gens 1 all the way up to 5 because I have good molds. Okay, just in case you're wondering about that one too. So I just like pulling this out once in a while because I never really get to see it often. It's been sitting in my safe. So I figured I'd show it off to you guys. Beautiful Glock 22. This was a very, very popular law enforcement gun at one time. A lot of law enforcement had Glock 22s, like a lot of them. I don't remember the year, maybe 7 years ago, and they all had them freaking Glock 22 40 cals. So, but I think personally, why they went to a different caliber is better shot placement, more rounds in the gun, and less recoil for qualifications. That's my opinion, which is fine. Which is fine. It's all about accuracy, right? Alright guys, figure I'd throw a gun video up. It's been too long since I've done that. And as you can see, this Glock 22 is well equipped. So, making a real special holster for guys if the material ever decides to get here. It's really cool. It's going to be really cool looking. We're going to do a video making that whole holster. I'm going to do that after, whenever the material gets here. It's a print material. It's really sharp looking. It should be here Saturday, I'm going to say latest. But all right guys, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for becoming a Patreon, and that really helps me out. You guys are awesome. Have a good one.